Oh boy. Good evening, friends, followers, channel members. Who's looking forward to this? What an incredibly detailed aircraft PMDG have given us. The 737 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I know for hundreds of you, thousands of you, tens of thousands of you, based on the PMDG servers yesterday, this is the aircraft so many of you have been waiting for, and it's the aircraft which I know has sort of people have been waiting for before sort of jumping ship from X-Plane P3D over to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We now have a PMDG here in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I don't know how to fly it. I hope you've all got manuals in front of you. You should see the amount of paperwork I've got on my desk. We are going to attempt tonight to take my Airbus knowledge and just kind of shoehorn it into an Airbus. Airbus, try and shoehorn it into a Boeing. How that works? Well, hopefully only with a little bit of help from you guys. Who am I kidding? A lot of help from you guys, because yeah, I don't know how to fly this thing. And now I have spent today getting familiar with the flight deck a little bit, just so we're not kind of thinking and spending ages trying to work out where things are and that. This is well, this is going to be fun. I hope you guys are hopefully all sat back with a drink, some snacks, as I attempt to fly this real-world route from my local airport as well. This is Doncaster Sheffield Robin Hood of Loxley Airport, whatever name it's been given now. And this is a real flight. And what's more, I see this flight take off several mornings a week and fly straight over the top of my house. The TUI aircraft from Doncaster Sheffield down to Palma. So this is yeah, this is hopefully going to be a good night. If it ends up like the CRJ, which has crashed on a hillside in Portugal somewhere, I think. Let's hope it doesn't end that way. I couldn't get to grips with the CRJ. Let's see if we can get to grips with the Boeing. What I would like to do as well is, if we can sort of get to grips with that, we're going to do some retro EasyJet flights, because of course when EasyJet first launched, it was with the 737, and they had 737-700 series for a while as well, going back into the early years. So it would be kind of nice to mix it up on the channel and have some retro EasyJet flights as well. So Dark Fury is on with creating an EasyJet livery for us as well, which I'm sure we shall see in the future. So welcome on board, everybody. So many of you getting on board nice and early. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much. Let's jump in. In fact, just before we do, I'm sure many of you will have seen the beauty of the aircraft, but I just thought let's oh, hang on, we've just got hidden behind a terminal there. Let me just have a look. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Not only is it gorgeous, all of the accessories as well, things like the stairs, the ground power unit, the bus. Do you know what? There's going to be add-ons. I am almost certain FlightSim.to is going to be full of add-ons and mods for that bus, all in different liveries. So let's get on board. Ooh, Nightbot is still in Airbus mode, isn't he? Let me just kill the Nightbot, because I'd completely forgotten about that. Too many other things on my mind before starting this flight to deal with that. Let me just go ahead and edit the flight time today. We're doing a long flight as well. It's about 2.5 hours, isn't it? And so it is going to be a late night for me here in the UK. That really doesn't matter. I wanted a nice long flight so we can discuss quite a lot of things. Yeah, but it's gorgeous, isn't it? And do you know what? It is so FPS friendly. For those of you that have already gone and got this, I was amazed at how FPS friendly this aircraft appears to be, which is beautiful. It really is. We are absolutely not on VATS in Mantoga. God, no. We are not on VADSIM. Howling Crazy, have we got some custom views? Well, do you know what? I'm going to make these available pretty soon. But we do indeed have some custom views, so we're going to be able to enjoy those as we fly along. Yeah. We couldn't not have custom views. Definitely not. Right. Let's see how we're going to go. Ali Broadbent, thank you so much for the last 4 months of membership, celebrating 4 months of channel membership. Thank you so much for that, guys. Right, let's start going through a bit of a checklist. So the first thing we're going to have to do, the operational flight plan. I've not given you guys the operational flight plan, have I? Just bear with me 1 sec, and I shall. I'll just pop that into the chat if anybody wants that. So there it is. There you go for anyone that's after that. New bricks, wow, beautiful. Goes back to the A320. Right, so our ground power unit is already connected up. That's as you can see there, we've got GPU power is available, but we're going to power the aircraft up ourselves now. So we're going to turn on the power, and we can close that. Cholty, hey mate, thank God you're here for if I break anything. Nuts, bolts, cables and pulleys. You can chat just resting a hand on the control column and you know what it's doing. No more what's it doing now. Oh no, I'm pretty certain I will be saying what's it doing now. Quite often. Right, so we've got the battery on. We're going to pop the emergency lights, get those armed. That's on. I think we can close that as well. So the ground power unit, let's go ahead and connect the ground power. There we go, ground power is on. Now we need to set the IRS to nav. Now I don't know about you guys, I've actually struggled to sort of reach this up here and see what I'm doing, so let me just come back in my seat a little bit here, and yeah, I'm still not far enough back. Try again. Right, here we go. So we need to set these to nav. There we go. And aligning. Good. And then we're going to set the iris up here to display selected heading. There you go. Okay, let's come back down to our normal view. Bob and Ryan E, good evening, mate. Oh, look. Power. So, down to the FCU. So, we need to set up our position, don't we? So, how do we do that? Enter the IRS position. So, here we go. Pause in it. We can pop in the airport. We could just copy, I think we can just basically copy and paste this, can't we? But you can pop in the airport, which is Echo Golf Charlie November. Now, will this work? We're actually at gate 4, I think we're currently at. Let me just check the charts here. Yes, we're at gate 4. Whether that will update anything. There we go. So now, technically, what I should be able to do is I could just take this setting there and set. There it is, and yeah, that looks good. Right, parking brake set to on. We've got the chocks on at the moment. We'll obviously have to release those. Funny story, when playing with the aircraft earlier, I tried a pushback, forgot that the chocks were on, and ended up facing almost 90 degrees upwards. I've also seen a couple of people do that live on stream as well, so it's not just me. I'm hoping that doesn't catch us out this evening. Welcome to everyone who's just coming into the chat. Stick around tonight. I need all the help I can get trying to fly this thing. So we are now going to... did I set that parking brake? There. Parking brake is set. Let's put our positioning lights to... where does that go? Does that go to steady? What's steady mean? Is that... I think they're already on steady, aren't they? Yeah, they're already on steady. That's a Boeing term. Standby, on, off. What's steady mean? Right, we can need to go back to the overhead now and find the flaps. Where is where is that? Is that up here? Let me see. Where am I looking? You know, I knew this would happen. Ah, there we go. So let me just change views. Right, so we're now going to do these flows. So we want flaps set to up, which I believe they are. The yaw dampener then needs to come on. Jason Bushell, welcome to the First Officers Club. Jason, thank you so much for your support and of the channel, and God knows I really do need it tonight. So thanks very much, Jason. If you've come here to learn about how to fly the PMDG 737, well, me too. If you come here learning how to fly the Airbus, then do stick around. Right, let's continue. So we've got the yaw dampener is on. We're now going to put the seatbelt signs on. So we're going to come across here. I think this is to is this to chime the cabin? We're not going to do that. But let's pop the seatbelt signs on. I've not refueled yet, so I'm presuming, just like the Airbus, you wouldn't have seatbelt signs on until refueling was done anyway, just for safety reasons. Jason says, thanks for trying the 737. Trying being the operative word there, Jason. Johnny says, 2 days ago you said you wouldn't buy it because you didn't have time to learn it. I don't have time to learn it. This is me learning it. So this is me learning it with you guys there. Right, so we've got seatbelt signs are on. Right, window heat. Where the hell's that? Window heat is up here. So we're going to put the window heat on. And the hydraulic pumps A and B need to come on. Are they already on? Because they're the electric pumps, aren't they? Oh, those lights have gone out. I'm guessing that's right. Okay, APU bleed then. That is just here. APU bleed is on. Our cruising altitude today is going to be flight level 380. So we need to go and set that, flight level 380 for pressurization. And then our landing altitude, I'm going to guess, is going to be quite low. What's the elevation of Palma? Elevation 8. Right, let's leave that then at 0. Okay, we want the aft fuel pump on. And that is so presumably we can start the APU. Okay, so now we're going to start the APU. Do I need both aft fuel pumps on, or just number one? Is the APU fed from the left-hand tanks, or both tanks, or the right-hand tanks? I guess I'll find out in a minute when I try and start the APU. So let's have a go. So APU. And if we hit start, is anything going to happen? Let's find out. Ryan Videos 94 says just the left. So Ryan, that's fine. So we've hit start with the APU. I'm waiting for the APU EGT to rise. Will that work? Yep, also saying just left. Probot says I've changed my mind since yesterday. I always wanted to do this, and I thought what better, and I decided, you know what better way to learn how to fly this thing with you guys. Looking Man on Twitch says didn't look like you flicked it to start, so we have to hold start. Do we have to hold? Oh, okay. So was that it? It has to go all the way down and then coming back up like that. Ah, right, okay, so now we've got the low oil pressure light. So there we go. I think that's starting to rise. See, this is why you guys are here. I'd have been fiddling around with this for ages without you guys here. Right, EGT is rising. That's good. So APU has started. We can now turn on the APU generator bus, which is... What is that? Is that already on? They were already on for some reason. Anyway, that's okay. That's done. So we can now disconnect the GPU, which is here. Oh, hang on. APU generator bus is off. Hang on. There we go. Right, now let's turn off the ground power. And is that it? Are we now under our own steam, I think? So to speak. Okay, let's now try and load some passengers. I think we're okay so far. Res Rules, welcome to the dark side. Indeed. Thanks, guys. I am skimming the chat as well, so don't think I am ignoring you. I am skimming the chat as we do this. Yeah, thank you. Keep all that advice coming. Right, let's see. Have we got a good sort of camera position for the? I was going to call it a McDo then. What is it? Is it an FCU here in Boeing land? Right, so what I'm going to do is, I think for all navigation and things, I can use the left-hand FCU, and then for the right-hand side, I'm going to use that for like payload and for the ground vehicles, all that kind of stuff. So there we go. So let's now go to the FS actions, and let's load some fuel to begin with. So total fuel is, oh, I don't want it in pounds, right. Now I did see where we changed this, but it took me a while to find it. Is it in the simulation page? I know it's right near the end. Might not be that one. Might be in the performance. No, I don't think it's that page. Is it in the options, or is it in the aircraft? Is it equipment? Could be in the equipment. I want to say page 9. Might be wrong. Let me see. Let me see. I just need to get the thing in kilograms before I go any further. I had it in kilograms earlier on today. Is it displays and page 9? Hang on then. So, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. Change to kilograms. That's it. Promo says don't change the weight here. Where would you change it? Right, so now let's go back to the menu, and I want to try and get some fuel in, don't we? So, fuel, total in kilograms. There we go. Right, so we will add the fuel, which is going to be what is plug fuel? Oh, probably we can do it with services, can we? FS services, then services. Hang on one sec. Let's try that way. Is it FS actions? Sorry. Then ground services. Do we have? Actually, I have seen the fuel truck, haven't we? Oh, is it there? Right, so we can actually request a target and start fueling, can't we? There we go. So, planned block fuel is just short of 8 tons. Well, you know what? Because we're going to burn probably a lot of fuel while I'm faffing around, perhaps we could try and load 8 tons of fuel. So, let's try that. And if we request the fueling truck, presumably once that's arrived, we can start the fueling process. Arrival hold. Tigros asked, which checklist am I using? I'm not. It literally is some notes of things that I've got in front of me, and from watching some various other various other videos from PMDG, etc., stuff like that. Right, why is start fueling greyed out? Is there a particular reason that we can't do it that way? I would like to do it like this, but if it's going to take too long for whatever reason, because don't we have to wait? Is the fuel truck just like miles away, something like that? I mean, we are in Doncaster. The fuel truck's probably got to come from Sheffield. Do we actually get a physical fuel truck come and arrive somewhere? Okay, do you know what? I'm going to go to the cheat way and use the fuel page. So, sorry about that, but we've got a long flight ahead of us. So, I'm going to set 8 tons of fuel. There we go. And the zero fuel weight, according to the flight plan, is 52.3. So, we can set the payload. In fact, can we set the payload just there, or do we go to there, don't we? 52.3 is our zero fuel weight. There we go. And I love that that automatically loads the aircraft with its payload. I think that's really neat. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to leave that on sort of the services screen, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the route page. So origin, we are at Echo Golf Charlie November, and we're off to Palma. There we go. Our flight number today is Thompson 16 Echo. TOM16 Echo. There we are. So we've done that. We now need to go to the departure and arrivals page. So for the departure, it's going to be runway 20, and it is the Upton 2 Alpha departure. There it is. Ooh, that looks good. That looks exactly what my chart says, so I'm happy with that. So that's that done. And then we need to go to, is it route? And then activate and execute. And then is it now? Hang on, we need to enter the route. How do I do that? Is that in the legs page? No. No, it isn't. So what have I missed here? I've missed something. Do I need to put... hang on. Do we need to do the arrival as well? Not the arrival in Doncaster. The arrival here, which is going to be ILS 24 left. ILS Zulu 24 left. That is going to be on the Lores 1 Popper. Let's go find that. Lores 1 Popper. There we go. And the transition is... let me see. It's via the Pollensa VOR, I believe. Let me check. Yes, Pollensa VOR. So, would that be found a bit further on? Ah, there it is. Done. And execute. Right, route. And on to the next page. Discontinuity, of course, but that is fine. We've got the start, we've got the SID. I don't know if you meant to put in the standard instrument departure, then fill out the route, and then put the star in at the end. I guess. Well, I guess both would work. Right, and now we've got to be a little bit old school because I'm not using any sort of SimBrief integration. I'll be honest with you. I think the fly-by-wire have got that down, haven't they, with the SimReef integration. I think that's really neat how they've done that. A bit disappointed that it's a bit more long-winded here in the PMDG. You basically have to download the flight plan from SimBrief and then save the file somewhere and all that. But yeah, okay. Right. So I'm going to input this flight plan just now. As I start typing on this is going to disappear, but that's basically what we're going to put in. So after Upton, we're going to go direct to Unigo. After Unigo, we're direct Honolly, and that's going to be the Honolly VOR 11365. After Honolly, we're going direct to Sitet. After Sitet, it's direct to Alpha Mike Bravo. That's the VOR, the Amboys VOR. Yeah, it's definitely not Santiago. Next page. After AMB, it's direct to Balan. A lot of directs, no airways. Oh, now which one? It's not going to be that one, not that far east. After Balan, it is direct to Evpok. After Evpok, it is going to be direct to Narak. Perhaps SimBrief integration will become a little bit better with future updates. Then direct to the Gulf Alpha India. You have to be very careful in typing these in. It's not something I do in the Airbus too often, but we have done it before. We know how to do it. That's fine. But literally one letter out, and that's your flight plan messed up. That's why you need to go and check it. Lomra. I'm going to double check that actually. Lomra. Yeah. After Lomra, we're going direct to Rokan. Direct to Rokan. Then Ibrap. IBRAP, yeah. After that, we finally got an airway, which is Uniform November 13. And then that takes us to Lores. So we've got a route discontinuity just there. If we type in Lores, and then we can tie that up. I think, do we tie that up a little bit later? So that takes us then to Lores. Have I spelled that wrong? Hang on. Yes, I did. Lores. Oh, and then it updates it nicely. Excellent. So we've entered the route's final waypoint. So now we're going to execute that. That should now all be set, shouldn't it? Okay, let's now go to our pos init. So the zero fuel weight, enter it here as well, 52.3. We're going to enter the reserves, which is final reserves plus the alternate. So the final reserves plus alternate is around 1.5 tons. No, it isn't. It's 2.5 tons. Cost index is 40. Wow, that's not easy yet. And then the cruising altitude is going to be flight level 80. Now, I think you can type this in either FL 380 or just 380, but flight level 80. There we go. And the cruise wind, again, if you're using SimBrief integration, I think it downloads it. But if we just have a look at the cruise wind at, say, the top of our climb and just take a bit of an average, you can see actually it's not... we go sort of halfway through and see what we're doing. So cruise wind, if we base it on... let's see, where's our top of climb? Top of climb's there. Top of descent is here, so we'll go for sort of a midpoint really. So if we put in 34529, so 345 at 29. I don't know if that is an accurate thing to do. In the real world, they'll get they'll get winds downloaded to them, won't they? Right, so then that's done, and now we're going to execute that. That's active performance. Let's go to our M1 limits. Right, now this, I will openly admit here that I kind of lose a little bit of my knowledge here. So when it comes to flex temp in the Airbus, fine with all that, but here, well, we're a little bit unsure. What's going on here? The the routing's having a little boogie to the music. Maybe that'll tidy itself up when we put in the M1 limit. In terms of what we're going to go with here, let's we're going to select 40, and then if we derate to takeoff 2. It's a very long runway here at Doncaster. It's a huge runway actually. It's an XRAF base. And noise abatement 2. Select that. So that's done. And that's all set. And then we can go to takeoff. Flaps 5 I believe is normal. So we'll set flaps 5. The CFG, we can select that, brings us the number, and pop that in. There's our trim value, and we've got some V speeds. There we go. Jose, did I miss the transition altitude? No, transition altitude here is 5,000 feet. How can we go back? Can we go back using the index page? That's one of the things that I do kind of lose my flow with setting up this box. Obviously, compared to the Airbus, you do something and each page has its own sort of page, whereas there seems to be pages and pages of information hidden within each of these options. So yeah. So Jose, if you can just someone can tell us how to get back to that page to just reevaluate the transition altitude, that would be great. Thank you so much for that. So we've now got the V speeds all set up. Let's just go to page 2. It's dry. Runway slope, I have no idea. I know how I can find out very quickly. What runway is it? Runway 20. Just have to grab a meta, put anything we want in there. We're not flying Airbus today. All I want is runway slope. Oh, it's giving it me already. So the slope is 0.27%. Thank you, SimSmart. So how do we put that in? 0.27. Does that get rounded up to... I'm just looking at how that's entered there with the decimal place in the wrong place. Let me see. Because if I actually typed in 0.27, I'm guessing, will that fill in there? Oh, right, I see. It rounds it up. That's okay. That's fine. Thrust reduction height, 1500 feet, HL. I'm going to leave that at 1500. I know a lot of airlines use 1000 feet now, and engine out acceleration also. I'm going to leave that as well. Terrain, there isn't that much terrain around Doncaster. Right, Jose, is it on the perf init page? Thank you. So, where's that? Thank you very much. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. Done. Just check all these are correct. So we've got the gross weight, we've got... so the planned and the fuel. Is this the fuel that we are taking? I'm not actually sure what goes in it just here, to be perfectly honest with you. In the tutorials I saw, I don't think I saw anyone enter anything in there. So if anyone knows what goes in there, please tell me. We've got 8 tons of fuel on board, so that's what's here. Is the plan the fuel that we should be using for our actual flight plan, which would be for the trip just over 5 tons, so 5.1. Is that right? So if we popped in 5.1 in there, does that give us... Well, it tells me now I've got insufficient fuel. So 8.1 is indeed what we have on board. Yeah, that's right. It's now telling me I've got insufficient fuel. The plan is 5.1. You know, Quaffle, if 737 driver left it empty, I could do with leaving that empty. Do you know what? Can I delete that? Let me try again. Can I delete it? There we go. Verify the takeoff speed. We'll go and do that. I don't understand how, if you plan 5.1, you've got 8.1 on board, how it can tell you you've got insufficient fuel. That doesn't make sense in my mind. Just check those V speeds. Those V speeds are fine. That's okay. Colin Evans, hey mate, you've just joined and you're bamboozled. Me too. Welcome to the club. Right, okay. I think that's done. Page 2. That's all done. Right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do now before I forget to do anything else is I'm going to come up here to the FCU. It's not called an FCU, is it? I'm going to select the runway heading, which is... What is our runway heading? 198. There we go, 198. What else we're going to select? We're going to select the initial climb, which is 6,000 feet for our departure. There it is. 6,000 feet is set. And we're going to select V2 speed, which was... Where's that gone? Oh, where do I... And was it in the N1 limits? Takeoff. V2 speed is 136. We ought to get some passengers on as well, hadn't we? There we go. There was no point getting the passengers on any earlier, because goodness me, it was going to take a while, wasn't it? But let's be fair. Let's go and get our passengers on board. God bless them. I don't know if self-loading cargo works with this. Mantogi, you've already got your seatbelt and life jacket on. Don't inflate it yet.
Cabin crew, we can open the doors now and start letting them on board. Thanks very much. Sure, no problem.
Right, so... I don't think self-loading cargo does work with this. It doesn't recognise that the door is open, but never mind. Never mind. Let's come now down to the transponder, which is all the way down here. That's set to transponder. We'd pop in a squawk code. Well, let's just set it to the normal 2000, which is the standby. And we can leave that on transponder for the moment. Right, let's go to descent, forecast. We're going to set the arrival transition level, which in Palma is 6,000 feet. There we go. And before I forget, let's turn on flight directors 1 and 2, and we can pop LNAV on as well. Right, I think we're about ready to start removing the ground services. So let's let's see. Let's go to the menu page here, FS Actions, ground services. Right, we can release the GPU because that's not providing power to the aircraft anymore. We'll remove the chocks. The parking brakes are on, so they are removed. The stairs are disconnecting. Oh, when you remove the GPU, does it automatically get rid of all of the vehicles? Is that what happens? That'd be kind of neat if that's what it. Oh yeah, yeah, there they go. There's just the aft stairs. If they're are they still knocking around? They've not gone anywhere, have they? Let's see. So forward cars departing, departure hold. I'm guessing they will go when they're good and ready. But okay, there's nothing saying they're there. I think everything is going, so fair enough. James, yes, we need to set the trim. Quite right too. Thank you for that. So let's go ahead and set that now. Is that what the trim was? 563. Go on then. This seems to go very slowly. There we go. Sergey says this is a very good demonstration on how the European engineering with the Airbus is making pilots' life so much easier. I can't disagree with you. J-Hog's brain is fried. Right, so that's done. I think we're about ready to start getting rid of pushback and all that stuff. Has everything? Have the stairs disappeared? That's one of my concerns. Oh yeah, they've all gone. Fantastic. Well, they did say that was going to happen. Right, so fuel pumps. We're going to turn the fuel pumps on. Have we got fuel in the centre tanks? A tiny bit. Yes, we do. I think, doesn't it need to be above a certain amount before you actually put the centre fuel tank? Do you know what? We'll turn them on. we're not that good at flying this aircraft, so we're just going to turn those on. There we go. Right, let's turn on the beacon light. It's not called that. It's the anti-collision light here in Boeing. We're going to set auto brake to RTO, rejected takeoff. We're going to arm the auto thrust. Or is it auto throttle here in Boeing? Right, so I think we should be about ready now to initiate the pushback and start the engines. So let's see. I'm going to just faff with these so I get what I want on the displays here. There we go. That's what I wanted. I want to be able to see N2 because when we start the engines, when we get to 25% N2, we're going to inject the fuel. Quaffle says the centre tanks can remain off. Fair enough. Let's turn those off. Thank you. Emily Kitchens on Twitch says seeing this makes me love the Airbus even more. All right, let's try and do a push, shall we? So, do we have a tug? I'm going to be using the pushback helper for this. I know the Boeing does come with its own tug, but let's try and use that. So let's connect the tug. There we go. Tug is connected. Hopefully you all felt a jerk there. Oglet, if the centre tank is almost empty, you want to leave the centre pumps off for takeoff because it might cause a master caution on takeoff. Okay, do you know what? I think that's what was causing the master caution problem then when I was playing around a little bit earlier on in the day. Thank you for that. Really do appreciate that. See, that's why I knew you guys had helped me. So that's all done. I'm ready to start the pushback. Let's see. Let's release the parking brake. Parking brake's released. And we're going to hopefully reverse. There we go. So now we're going to... Oh, didn't mean to turn that. We're going to turn engine 2 to ground. Ignition is on both. So this should start to spool up, and when we get to N2, 25%, we're going to inject the fuel. This is where the toolbar pushback would come in handy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So engine number 2 should spool up now. Let's have a quick look outside, see what's happening. James Chang Music says you may wish to set the course to runway heading. That's interesting, James. Why would you do that? I understand setting the heading bug to runway heading. We're moving! Not under our own stream. We're getting pushed back by an invisible tug, but we're moving. According to self-loading cargo, though, I've left all my passengers at the gate. Never mind. So our departure runway is over here. Danny, that is a good shout. Is the QNH set? It most probably is not. I'm going to cheat though. Letter B. Evening, Antrak. Hope you're well. Flipman Jacket, you should try the pushback ground service in the FMC. Yeah, as I said that they do have one. I'm just not using it. Right, so that's done. Generator 2 when that's ready, so we can now pop that on, can't we? Oh no, that's off. Pop that on. There we go. Now we need to do the next engine. Engine number 1. Starting engine number 2 first. It's wrong. Right, should we initiate a left-hand turn? This is going to be a really bad pushback, guys. I'm sorry about this. Thank you so much for sticking with me, guys. 297 viewers between Twitch and YouTube. Really do appreciate that. Fuel. There we go. Tom, sky's the limit. Way too many knobs and dials. I know, right? What am I doing? Hello, by the way. It's true, I'm no Boeing fan, but this is an amazing piece of engineering from PMDG, so we had to try it out and showcase it a few times. Who knows, I might even get better at flying it. Even if I don't get better, maybe I'll just get quicker. Starting engine 2 first is such a Boeing thing to do. I don't know if we're on the taxiway or the grass, but... Oh! Yeah, well, ignore that. Okay. We'll finish the taxi there. Just cut the grass at the same time. Right, pushback is complete. Let's set the parking brake. Tell the tug to go away. We didn't actually have a physical tug, but never mind. Why is the master caution lit? What am I missing here? I must be missing something. Diffuse, should we expect more Boeing flights in the future? Who knows? I did think about doing a I did think about doing a Ryanair flight, but then thought, no, that would be sacrilegious. Simon Smith, my biggest apologies, Simon. Thank you so much for your £5 super chat 25 minutes ago. I'm sorry, I'd had my head buried in what I was doing. And Simon says, this will be very interesting, lots of learning, but it looks like a fun aircraft. Thank you for showing it to us. Simon, you're more than welcome, and please do accept my apologies again for not acknowledging your super chat a little sooner. Right, so let's get generator 1 on. That's all done. Right, left and right packs need to go to auto, so that's up here, is it? Where are the packs? Are these them? Yeah. So pack there. Probe heat needs to come on. Well, that's automatic in the Airbus. Anti-ice not required. Isolation valve to auto. What? Isolation valve to auto. Where's that? The recirculator air fan is on auto. That's not. Oh, there it is. Big thing in the middle. There we go. APU can come off. There it is. And now engine start switch, move to continuous. There we go. Probot, will I fly the Phoenix A320? You betcha. I'll fly the heck out of the Phoenix A320 and we'll be off the ground in 20 minutes. Right, let's set our flaps. Oh, that master caution's gone. That's good. So we're going flaps 5, aren't we? Let's set flaps 5. There we go. Flaps 5 is set. We've set the trim. We're going to arm the spoilers. Spoilers are armed. Let's turn our taxi light on. Where's that? That there? Yeah. Taxi light is on. Fuel flow reset. Okay, we're going to taxi to the runway. Chalty, the OVHT test is needed. What on earth is that? Quaffle says the probe heat scanning DB also set to auto as some 737s have them. Not this one. This is a bucket of bolts. Right. Release the parking brakes. Let's cut the grass. We're moving, and this time it is under our own power. Simon, thank you for so much for the follow on Twitch, and to Mars7U5. Robert Finch says, how are the frame rates? Do you know what? The frame rates in this are unbelievably good. And I mean really good. Better than the fly-by-wire. Far, far better than the fly-by-wire. The frame rates are fantastic. Right, so I'm just... I would at this point normally be doing a PEDS check, so I'll be checking the performance, no change and all that. Like engine out procedure, who knows? Engine out procedure is prey. Our departure is the upturn to Alpha, and our stop climb is 6,000. That is set. We can arm VNAV, I think. Can we arm VNAV? Yep, VNAV's armed. Olga, you don't arm the speed brake for takeoff on Boeings. Really? Oh, well, in that case. It's now disarmed. Okay, so we are going to enter the runway area. So we're obviously going to turn on our lights. I don't know if we turn all of these on, but I am. The strobe lights, do they come to... They're there, aren't they? Yeah, we don't need wing lights or wheel well lights, I don't think. Can we taxi all the way down there? Quick check. Oh yeah, there we go. We'll taxi all the way down there. I couldn't remember if we had to backtrack here. No, we don't. Tom says that we should arm the spoilers. Tom, that right, mate? Damon says if you leave it armed, you'll get a takeoff config warning and a siren. Really? You don't arm the... So you don't arm them for departure? I mean, that just sounds strange to me. Although Ogras just said what I was thinking. It's perhaps armed using the rejected takeoff function. Perhaps it's all built in. Boeing has something built in that Airbus doesn't. Lewis, how long does it take to install the 737? Not very long at all. Not very long at all. Once you've got the download file, it literally is 5 minutes. Although PMDG did have unprecedented demand yesterday, didn't they? Mantoga says turn the no smoking sign off. Those in the back are going to need it. She is a gorgeous aircraft. PMDG doing the absolute best. Is the auto throttle not armed? Have we not armed that? Auto throttle is armed, Charlie, unless I'm missing something. Robert says you spent many happy hours watching the Vulcan fly out of Doncaster. Yeah, it's still there, isn't it? One of them. Great details. Callum, how's the taxi control? It looks really smooth from here. Again, the taxi control is fantastic. Again, I would say it's better than the fly-by-wire. Tom, Sky's Limit says you honestly have little to no knowledge on the Boeing. Got only 3 flights left, one being tonight on the Airbus. Oh yeah, you're transferring, aren't you? You're going to Boeing. Not the 737 though. Right, so then I'm going to hold us just here. In fact, no, I've got all the lights on already because I did that a bit easier, so a bit earlier on. So that's all done. Let's line up, and then for departure, we're going to set 40% M1, and then I believe we hit the. Is it the toga switch, which is a little click spot just there on that screw? Okay. Right. Well, I think we're good. Do you think we're good? Have I missed anything? There's nothing that looks overly obvious from my point of view. The overhead test. Where is the overhead test, Chalty? You're talking to someone who doesn't know where anything is. I have no idea where the overhead test is. So, I will offer my apologies for not having a clue where stuff is. I mean, how many different panels does the overhead have? You can see all the different little bits. Whereas the Airbus is just almost like one big solid piece. Okay. So Chalty, the overhead is on the right hand side. Are we anywhere close? So right hand side in the middle. So go on. Oh, the overheat, not the overheat test. Where's the overheat test then? Right hand side and middle still doesn't help me, to be honest. the cockpit voice recorder. Does anything bad happen if I don't do this overheat test? Oh, hang on, got it. I'm pressing it, I don't know what it's doing, but hopefully that will appease Chalty, our Boeing engineer. Right, should we go? So let me just run this through in my head. So we're going to set 40% N1, we're then going to release the brakes, we'll press the toga switch. We'll then, once we've passed, we're going to have a little bit of forward pressure. Once we've passed V1, obviously then VR, we'll rotate. We're going to follow the flight directors, and then we will go to flaps 1 when we reach acceleration altitude, which is going to be about 1600 feet. Flaps 0 once we pass number 1 on the speed tape. And by then, autopilot is going to be on sooner than ever. TCAS, good shout indeed. So let's go ahead and pop that on now. TARA. Let's see. Parking brakes are off. God bless us all. Colin, God no, we're not on VATSIM. So we're going to set 40% M1. There we go. Release the brakes. Set M1 thrust. $80 knots. There's a crosswind. I feel that. Such smooth frame rates. B1 rotates. Okay, we'll ease back steadily on the stick, not too much. There's that wind, look at that. Positive rate then, so we can bring that gear up. Don't want to over-rotate this thing. Following the flight directors. Just as we would in the Airbus. Okay, I'm now going to engage the autopilot. Autopilot is on. So let's set flaps 1. As we pass flaps 1, we can clean up. There it is. So now let's clean up. Flaps 0. We didn't set flaps 1. I didn't go push the flaps lever quite far enough. We were at flaps 2, but never mind. We're airborne! Somewhere down there is the Yorkshire Wildlife Park. For anyone that lives local to Yorkshire, it is well worth a visit. Okay, so we've got no ATC around. Let's continue our climb. I'm just going to select flight level 200. So we're going to set flight level 200 and set standard pressure as we climb to that flight level. Diffuse flight time this evening is about 2.5 hours, mate. This is going to be a really long, really late stream. We've been streaming for an hour already. We're just taking off. It's going to be a long stream. Doesn't matter though. Carby, something new to me is to move the gear lever down to the off position. Yeah, do you know what? I'm struggling to do that, and I think as a key binding issue I've got still using the gear lever for the Airbus. Now look at this. This is neat, but I need to just set. Ah, I know. Right, at the moment we won't climb any higher because of the constraints. I see. This is holding the speed. This is holding the constraint. Now, let me see. This is... yeah, there you go. Look, there's the speeds. It's holding the speeds, doing exactly as it should be. Max speed 200 knots. It's also got a constraint of flight level 60 until we pass Upton. Now, here's the question for you guys. How do we override it? How do we override that? Do we go VS? Do we go altitude hold? Level change? How would we override that? Because that is a really useful piece of information which I don't know the answer to. Defuse says, set the gear lever on the Airbus back to gear down, then click it manually up and then set to off. Good idea, let's try that. So, do that. Up. And then, once we've got all the lights out, nice, I like that. Giuseppe says use level change. Okay. There we go, so we're now on to level change. Some people also saying alt intervent. I tried alt intervent, it didn't work. But it is doing now. Sky's limit, Tom. Yeah, you're talking my language now. Flight level change you think is like open climb, open descent, so maybe that works for me. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to apply Airbus logic to a 60-year-old aircraft. But look at these views.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll shortly begin our cabin service as we continue to climb to our cruising altitude. You may now use your electronic devices. Rechargeable battery packs are also available to purchase from our cabin crew. You can also ask them about joining our frequent flyers and becoming a channel member. Thank you.
Nice. Okay, so we're now passing 10,000 feet, so we can get the lights off, can't we? Don't really need the logo lights. So presumably then level change, if that's like open climb, open descent, we are changing levels based on, and our rate of climb or descent is determined by the speed, which is good. A blue bonnet. So I think now what we can do is just zoom out a little bit. See, what I should have done as well is pop on the data page. That would then have given us the flight levels and things. Yeah, there you go. So I guess what we could do now, we're clear of the constraints. We're clear of the constraints. Can we put it back into VNAV mode? And if we put it back into VNAV mode, we're above 10,000 feet, so presumably the aircraft would level off, accelerate. Would that work? Let's find out. I'm such an Airbus boy. Oh! It's working! Yeah, we're leveling off. Aircraft is increasing in speed. by Jove, I think I understand. Defuse, what are my engine and ignition set to? They are set to continuous. I don't know if that's right or not. I have heard as well, Tigros, that you should kind of keep the your heading aligned in case you need to go into heading mode. Probably more important if you're on VATSIM or following ATC, which God knows we're not doing that tonight. Guys, we're airborne. Thank you so much for helping us get this far. Please do like the stream if you're enjoying the evening's entertainment. And of course, if you're new to the channel and fancy more of this, and of course proper Airbus stuff, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Right, so we are going to continue our climb. Let's get up to our cruising flight level today, which is going to be flight level 380. So if we now set flight level 380, we're still going to leave that in LNAV mode and hit Alt Intervention. There we go, up we go. Oh yeah, we can turn the auto brake off as well, don't need that. So we can now turn these to off, can we? When do we turn them to off? Is there a rule? I like triggers. Triggers are a good thing. So if I can set that to off. There we go. Where do I find the SAT temperature? Is that shown down here anywhere? No. Turgay, the ground radar is working, yes. Where is that? I didn't turn that on. Oh, it's up here, isn't it? Yeah, the terrain radar is working. Obviously, we're now at 22,000 feet, so you're not going to pick that up. But it does. Michael Williams says, as a Boeing guy in the sim, this is so much fun. Sam Swallow Racing, at 10,000 feet, we can turn those two off. Thank you very much, Sam. Something else to add to my knowledge bank. Barry, where is the heads-up display? I think I'm flying a really old aircraft. It doesn't have one. Yeah, so I've not got it, or it's not installed. So Tigros says basically, leave it to continuous if you're going to fly through some clouds, and off if you're not. You think there's very few clouds today. Good weather over Europe. Electric Palm, good evening. Great to see the 737. Lots of Ryanair flying to come. I don't think I could bring myself to. Well, do you know what? If my landing in Palma in a couple of hours' time is absolutely rubbish, then maybe I'll fly Ryanair till I get better. How's that? Spitfire RAF, you've been flying this today and you're absolutely loving it. Excellent. Vladimir, strange name to have under the current circumstances. But yeah, this is 737-700. Quaffle, so yeah, I need to spend a little bit more time in the FMC menu so we can set things like the auto ignitions, probe heat, stuff like that. Change the whole MCP. Yeah, because I've seen this with yellow tinges rather than yellow LEDs rather than the digital displays, rather than bright white. I wonder if you turn on the windscreen wipers when there's no moisture and rain and water, it scratches the windshield so you can't see out of it properly. Diffuse says, after today, personally, you think you find this aircraft more immersive than the A320nx? Yeah, well, you know I'm an Airbus. I like my Airbus, and I think there is obviously a difference between the two. Obviously a difference between the two. I didn't set the clock, did I, on departure? Never mind. So that's the difference, isn't it? The Payware and PMDG, they are renowned for obviously giving you the absolute best of the best, everything operational, everything you can do with the real aircraft, you can do the sim aircraft, as long as the simulator allows. Tom, you missed me doing the takeoff performance. How did I manage it today? Oh, God knows. It was... do you know, that brings me to a good point. That is probably one of the things I'm slightly disappointed with for this aircraft. Now, I don't know if it's because it doesn't exist. I mean, what we're used to with Airbus, of course, is you have pilots have fly smart. We, as a takeoff performance calculator, basically you input what runway you're taking off from, give the takeoff run available, all that sort of stuff. Put in the weather, and it bangs out a flex temp and how long you're going to be rolling down the runway for, and the stopping distance, etc. This has none of that. Unless I'm missing a setting somewhere whereby there should be a tablet which I've just missed. So Tom, in answer to your question, we just basically set a standard value of I think it was 40. You'd have to go back and rewatch the stream. But yeah, we basically set something which I've seen other pilots set, and it seemed to work. It says, please clear the warning on the FMC. What warning is that? What is that telling me? Before I press something, I like to learn what it does. Ryan, now I've flown the PMDG and the Phoenix, which do I feel is more immersive? Oh, I'm not sure I'm allowed to answer that. I'd love to be able to answer it, but I'm not sure I'm allowed to. Nika tablet's coming with the 800 version. Right, fair enough. Still in development. Well, that makes sense. Hi, Spadell. Thank you so much for subscribing. Hope you're having a good evening. So, hopefully now, we'll get up to cruise. And we can sit back and chat all things Boeing for the next couple of hours. Neil Brock has just basically taken the thoughts right out of my mouth, my brain. And Neil, I don't think you're on your own here. This is a very detailed plane, but my god, the Airbus is much more user-friendly. Tilly says, check the FMC. What am I missing? Which bit of the FMC do I need to check? Jens, HC's been awfully quiet today. It's because I betrayed him. Well, yesterday he did say he would pay to watch me try and fly this aircraft. He may be working. Or he may be looking in the background. You know what he's like. Danny, you're up in the air. Also, are you getting a message saying your start valves are open? Where are they? Don't ask me. I have no idea. Vladimir, thank you for subscribing. Really do appreciate it. Tom says, right, ladies and gents, got to try and get some shut-eye for an hour. You've got to wake up in an hour as you've got to turn around in Hong Kong tonight. 23 hours on a plane. Give us a wave, Tom, if you're flying over. Although you won't be if you're Doharing it to Hong Kong. Nowhere near us. Thanks for coming on board, Tom. And if I don't see you before you do your final Airbus flight, good luck. Enjoy it. You will miss it, I'm sure. Michael says the 737-700 also has a dynamic failure system based on operational times and real-world durability data. That is true. So wear and tear basically is what you're saying, because you can call mechanics to come and sort things out on the ground, can't you? Which I like the idea of that. That's another reason that I really like the idea of the Phoenix when that's released, because you're flying an aircraft which could, probably won't, but could go wrong. Look at that view. Where's that down there? Is that East Midlands Airport? Maybe? Or Coventry? Echo Bravo Bravo Echo. I have no idea where that is. Yeah, it's Coventry. Because there's Birmingham just behind us. Chalty, can you see the overhead panel scan, the P5 panel? What the heck is a P5 panel? If I just show you that, tell me where you want me to zoom into, mate, and I'll do it for you. Diffuse says it's good, however, to have the option now of a top quality Airbus and a top quality Boeing just for a change now and then. Well, that's true. You know, what I would like to do, because this is just such an amazing aircraft, and obviously we bought it, so it's an amazing aircraft. It would be definite to fly it, and I know you guys on stream love to see me struggle with stuff like this. So I think there's definitely going to be scope for doing things like EasyJet ops in bygone years, you know, when they started with their 737s, and maybe, just maybe one day, I'll take this thing on VATSIM. Nick, you love the sound in my voice when I'm thinking, am I allowed to say that? It's, I make that sound in my voice a lot when answering my wife. Captain London, is that Birmingham where you were born? Excellent. Neil, you're right in thinking you also need to take out the auto thrust on landing, or does it go pear-shaped? I think you leave the auto thrust engaged because you set VAP plus like 5 knots or something. So yeah. ASA Stream, good evening. You joined late from Flight Deck to Sims inaugural stream in which the PMDG turned upside down at one point in cruise. Well, that doesn't fill me with confidence. I mean, that's the sort of thing I would do, but it's me. So, wow. Felt Vietnam still needed work, but overall exceeds expectations. Well, we shall see, won't we? We shall see. I mean, at the moment, I'm just enjoying what an amazing view. Are we at cruise altitude? We are now at cruise altitude. So that is, that's it. That's us done. We'll do a couple of fuel checks a little bit later on. Just to make sure we're not going to run out. We've got 6.2 tons of fuel on board. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, Captain London, you're now in New York. Wow, excellent. Docs A, how does it fly with the Airbus side stick? Do you know, I was waiting for someone to ask if I was flying with a yoke or a side stick. I am actually flying with the side stick, and I know that's not very Boeing-like. But do you know what? It actually flies quite nice. The only thing you've got to remember, of course, this doesn't have auto trim. So when you are hand flying it, you can't just point the aircraft where you want to go and then let go. Because you do that, it doesn't go where you want it to go. You have to remember there is no auto trim in this thing. So you need to like tease it into the direction you want it to go to. Henry, will I be picking up the Phoenix as well when that's released? Oh god, yes. I will absolutely be flying the Phoenix. I cannot wait to fly the Phoenix on stream. John, you just come back after the problems with the sim update now, and how did I resolve the offline issue? I've still had it a couple of times, but they seem to come in batches, so you have it 3 or 4 times in 5 minutes, and then you don't have it again, so fingers crossed. We're airborne now, so we should be okay. Dr. Magic, you're enjoying the stream. Thank you so much. Dare I fly Ryanair? Let's see how I land in Palma. That's what I said. If I do an absolute bobbins landing, then yeah, maybe Ryanair for the next one. Sweater, you're bucking the trend by sticking with the A320 tonight on approach to Heathrow from is that Budapest or Bucharest? I can never remember. Using a pilot's life too. Ooh, more information on that, please. I've not heard of that. A Panther 409, can you import SimBrief? Yes, you can, but it's not intuitive like it is with the fly-by-wire. They've really got that sorted. What you have to do here, there's no sort of inbuilt SimBrief integration. You have to download the flight plan from SimBrief and then import it into the you have to actually put the folder into a folder within the PMDG simulator, and then do it that way. So yeah, it's a little bit convulsive, but it is there. GD, it costs $70. Yeah, we'll think about it over the next few days, but it looks good. It is. I can't complain. Obviously, I cannot complain. Neil, the Phoenix is so good. Agreed. Mantogi, you are surprised they didn't use a Ryanair livery to account for the bad landing we're likely to get. I don't want to do a bad landing, obviously. What if we did a really good one in a Ryanair livery? I mean, that would be just awful. Diffuse, how have I configured the throttle pack? Is it calibrated well? Do you know what? I'm just on default, and it seems to be working okay for me. Vladimir, the current location, we are... Where are we? Are we over Jersey? No, not quite. Right, so there's London Heathrow, if that helps. So London is down there somewhere. Electrobomb, you're flying the Just Like 146. It's quite old school, but they put the working title FMC in and it's great to fly. I've heard good things about that. Tally says you think you're going to wait for the 737-800 and you want the Phoenix 320, so yeah, many aircraft and so little money. Flight simming is indeed an expensive hobby, that is true. Kadasasha, how do you enable autopilot? So autopilot is engaged in the Boeing by selecting the command button there. So if the captain is flying, he'll use autopilot A. First officer flying, I presume they would use autopilot B. Did anyone tell me what this error was that I needed to check out? No idea. Do you have a secondary flight plan here in the Boeing? Just a question. Also looking to see if it's got any sort of time. ETA. Couldn't see an ETA on there. Neil also says doesn't know whether to get this because you want the 800 and the Phoenix. So much money, yeah. Simon says you can use the SimBrief downloader, but that is another program to run in the background, and that's the problem, isn't it? Roy Van der Kant, are the camera review files available yet? Not just yet. I wanted to make sure everything worked before we started doing that. Planes Trains with Elliot. Elliot, mate, how you doing? Hope you're well. Mavation says we paid for the FMS. We might as well put it to a good use and put the flight plan in manually. It's not always realistic, though. A lot of flight plans now are just downloaded using ACARS. English Channel is indeed coming up. Barry, how do you walk through the aircraft? Well, I use custom views, but obviously you can use the drone camera as well. As Twitter says, a Pilot Life 2 is basically a career mode program. You join the airline, you have to fly route schedules and work your way up to getting job offers by how well you fly. That's a nice idea. I've not heard of that. I've heard of a couple of things, like Luke's Air Tools, stuff like that, but I don't think I'd heard of a Pilot's Life 2. Dr. Magic, how far are you from landing? You're 473 miles. Will you get there before I land? Probably not. Richard Evans says, can't believe Vladimir Putin has time right now to be watching a Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. Everybody needs a hobby. John, hi there, real world Ryanair pilot checking in. John, tonight, I wouldn't normally say this because obviously, given the channel name and its bias towards Airbus and EasyJet, I wouldn't usually say this, but tonight, John, you may just be my saviour. I have no idea what we're doing. We're working through things very, very steadily. We're at cruise, so, you know, we've gotten this far. I think that's good. Unfortunately, what goes up must come down, so at some point, I've got to land this thing in Palma. But hey John, hope you're well. Thank you so much for coming on board this evening and checking us out. Watching an Airbus boy try and work his way around all these knobs, switches and dials. So much tactile feel as well. They're just push buttons in the Airbus. Cholty says outbound is autopilot 1, inbound is autopilot 2. Is that right? John says turn the air bleed off for the APU. Have we not done that? Hang on, got to come over here. Where's that? Yeah, APU is obviously not running, so don't need that. Good spot, thank you. Header Walter says, I cannot see how we can get any better than Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I suppose we were saying that when FSX was released. Yeah, but how many years ago was that released now? What was it? 20 years ago? Something like that? Prog will give you the ETA. Thank you very much. That's what I was after. Do you know, that's one thing I miss as well. I couldn't, when I was testing it earlier, I couldn't see any wind display on the navigation display, but then I realised halfway through that, oh, actually, there isn't any wind because I'm not using real live weather. We are using real live weather today as well, so that too could cause issues for me, not the simulator. So, Elliot, yeah, I'm good. Diffuse will probably be worth making a junction file in future to save time when downloading the flight plan. Neil, you want to fly by while making interior sometime soon? I don't think they have plans to, because it's just something more for your computer to render. How much time do you spend in the cabin? So yeah. OKTM says you can't believe PMDG didn't give you specifications table with the exact takeoff weight, zero fuel, etc. and all those figures. Perhaps that might come in the future. Neil Brock, you're watching me because you would be in the same boat as an Airbus flyer. Interesting, isn't it? And I think, do you know what is... I'm kind of very lucky. 5 minutes from where I live, there's a full fixed base simulator in a flight school. 5 minutes from me. So I might have to go and spend a bit of time there. That'll get me up to speed. And quite often there's Jet 2 pilots training, so I might just have to go and sit in and see what they do. Charlton says, don't worry Gav, it's only the last few feet that hurt. And Mark, that is a good point. There's lots of mods, like the Z1 mod has been out for a few years, so lots of videos on YouTube. I just need the time to watch them, that's the thing. Nick, remember to change the heading to an Airbus. Remember to change heading to your track. It's not an Airbus. Why? You know what? I'll give the CRJ that. It had a little button, didn't it? You pressed it and it automatically matched it. Whereas here, I've got to spin my magenta line round. There we go. What do you mean, is it worth $70 for Microsoft Flight Simulator since you have to pay way more for the add-ons? Well, you do, but also if you like doing VFR, then the aircraft that come by default are amazing for VFR flying. If you want to do IFR, you have the fly-by-wire, which is free. So yeah. You can buy just the simulator and not spend another penny if that's how you want to do it. John says, what is there that you need help with? Anything I want explaining? Well, let's see. I mean, we've got the caution light here. I'm not quite sure what this means. So we've got the FMC P reset. I'm guessing that means. So the FMC, I can't see anything sort of, no message in the scratch pad or anything daft like that. So if there's any info you can give us on that, I'd love to know what that is. Mark says, for you, the $70 was worth it. It's a complete plane for the most, and having a proper working VNav. True, true. Although the fly-by-wire is getting there, isn't it? I've had good things with the fly-by-wire last few times we've flown it, so that's quite nice. Chalty says regarding autopilot 1 and 2, is it 1 and 2 or is it A and B? It's A and B, isn't it? Just to be different. So that way to establish serviceability of both autopilots. Same with the packs. Shut one down in cruise temporarily to make sure the other can handle the load. That's fair enough. Top Gun says, by the way, you followed my advice in the fly-by-wire 3 to an extra hardcode the star altitude ranges to a specific altitude for the purpose of getting a correct top of descent, and it has worked like a charm. Thank you. Top Gun, you're more than welcome. Glad to hear that's working for you. And Turgay says, you think having the knowledge of both Airbus and Boeing and being able to enjoy them both here in the simulator is worth it? Well, yeah, and I know variety is the spice of life. I mean, surely you guys must have been getting bored of me flying an Airbus for the last 18 months, nearly 2 years. So John says the FMC reset means that there could have been a brief message on the FMC. Just click to remove it. Right, okay, so gone. Thank you very much, John. John, mate, if you aren't already, you need to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you can help every time I attempt to try and fly this thing. And no more will we bang on about Ryanair. Switch says, by the way, been watching you not so much for a long time. The only reason I dabble and don't die in the A320 is because of my videos. So that, cheers. You're so welcome. So I'm glad that the Airbus videos are useful to you. And yeah, don't do everything I do here in the Boeing. It's going to take a while for me to get up to scratch with this. Maverick 751 says I need to create a performance calculator for the 737. I think that PMDG will have that sorted at some point. Peter Scarab, good evening, mate. How you doing? Chris Hogg, good evening to you as well. Yeah, Peter, we are in a Boeing. Mark says Boeing is a more hands-on plane to fly. I think you get to learn more in general. Well, you know what, Mark, I've heard that. Although now we're at cruise, I think they're very much a little bit of a muchness, aren't they? Because I don't really think I've got to do anything at the moment. Okay, we need to go ahead and set up some stuff for the approach, but we're only over the channel and we're heading down to Palma. I said it was going to be a nice long stream this evening, so we've got a good hour and a half or so left to go. So John, we are headed to Palma, runway 24 left is the plan this evening. So yeah, it's going to be ILS. I would not be attempting VOR on my first attempt at flying this aircraft. Although, of course, this aircraft is a Boeing and it does something that a Airbus cannot do. And that, of course, is it can track a VOR. And, of course, Airbus can't. So, it should be a little bit easier, I guess. Cameron, what airline are we? We are Thompson, or TUI as it is now. Is that a ship? There's a ship down there. You can just see its wake. So yeah, if I just jump outside for a moment. There it is. The rather stunning add-on from PMDG, the 737-700 series. Of course, you'll probably know this already, but we're obviously not flying on live time. I didn't want to do my inaugural flight in the dark. Terga says you can imagine me making tutorials on the PMDG soon, maybe in a few months. I'm sure all those tutorials will already have been made by then. Diffuse says if a new channel called TUI Sim Pilot pops up, we know who it is. Well, as I said, I think if we're going to stick with Boeing flights as well on the channel, we're just going to get an EasyJet livery sorted out, with thanks to Dark Fury, who's already on with that. And we'll do retro EasyJet flights. We'll just do retro EasyJet flights, which would be quite nice to do as well. Coffee Guy 66 says, hi Gavin, as 320 sim pilot, how am I finding the 737? You're not a real world pilot, but love the A320. The 737 seems considerably more complex to operate. Well, yes, I think every aircraft, when you're not familiar with it, is definitely going to be more complicated to operate. And in terms of the general flows and things like that, I think the 737 perhaps is. The Airbus is very streamlined in its flows. Everything is sort of omnidirectional, whereas from what I gather, the flows for the Boeing 737 is a little bit more what I call scattered around. I don't think it's as bad as the CRJ though. My word, that was bad. Practice, I guess. Practice will make perfect. Sam says on the Boeing you can pre-select your QNH, that's one thing you like. Also the fixes pages are a little bit easier for you. Overall you're an Airbus man, but it's nice to fly a proper hands-on aircraft sometimes. Raging Lies in, had you first ever VATSIM flight when you recorded your Berlin to Gothenburg trip? Having learned to use the A320X from the videos, my videos the day before. So you learned how to fly it the day before and then jumped onto VATSIM 24 hours later. Raging Lightning, that is impressive. John Jones, you flew Palma yesterday from East Midlands at the base. Excellent. If it's not too late, you'll be able to guide us in and help us set up. Be fresh in your mind still. Mark Walter, I think you're correct there as well, saying it's just a little bit more of the setup in the pre-flight. That is true. Ronald Jeffers says it's such an amazing aircraft. Tell you what I do need to do. I need to do some base training on this thing, don't I? I mean, doing that in the Airbus is actually quite hard as a single pilot. All the things you need to set up after every rotation and going round again. So I'm going to have to do quite a bit of practice in the 737 if I'm ever going to attempt that. Gary Bolvin, hey mate, says you've been working on the Mad Dog MD-82. It's been a nightmare for getting there. Planes, trains, Elliot, we're off to Palma de Mallorca. And Neil says, good idea on the retro EasyJet. I think I'll do the same. We need to get the livery with the big numbers splashed down the side, don't we? Do you remember that? Flipped follow UPS. How you doing, mate? The coffee guy says, apologies, not taken away from the skill required to pilot the Airbus. A lot of the Airbus is knowledge. Obviously, you do need piloting skill for when things go wrong, but a lot of the knowledge, if you've got that as well and you know how to handle the modes and interpret those, that goes a long, long way to having successful flights. And planning. You need to be able to plan in the Airbus. So you're not left going, what's it doing now? Dark Fury says the EasyJet livery is now pending approval on flightsim.to. However, working on the personal one tomorrow. Also, Air Berlin has been submitted too. Excellent, Dark Fury. That's great to hear it. And I'm sure if the EasyJet livery gets onto flightsim.to, you'll have hundreds of downloads of that. John says you won't be able to. You need to go to bed. I understand that completely. Off to Malaga. No, Malaga's an interesting one, particularly if you're not coming in over the ocean, over the Med. If you're coming in from the north, there's the terrain to navigate and things like that. Good one for new cadets as they leave themselves high with too much speed. So can help now if we need anything. Well, you know what, John? Let's have a look. Let me go through and try and set a few things up and call it out. So, unlike Boeing, we need to grab the charts and we need to get the ILS frequency. So, this is proper old school. So the ILS frequency is 109.3 and the course is 238. So this is where it differs quite a bit from Airbus. 109.3. So we're going to set both of those. 109.3. Not sure why we need to pop it on nav2. I don't know if that's for redundancy or what, but 109.3, so that's our ILS put in. We need to put the course in, which is, what did I say it was? 238. There we go. And then we need to work out what our, well, I've called it my VAP speed. I don't know if it's called that. So what we need to do to work that out is we need to work out what our fuel at the destination is going to be. Take that off our current fuel, and then we basically need to work out what the VAP's going to be. Now, I'm assuming that is something that we have to do. I'm not entirely sure. So fuel at the destination, where are we going to get that from? Right, so fuel at Leper then, according to that, is 3.1. And what do we have fuel wise at the moment? We've got 5.3. Now I'm going to go through this, then I know there's a slight delay in the stream, so if I'm doing this wrong, let me finish and then tell me why I'm doing it wrong. So fuel quantity is now 5.3. So if we expect to have 3.1 minus 5.3, sorry, I've done that the wrong way round, haven't I? We've got 5.3 on board now, minus the fuel that we have at Palma. That's 2.2 tons of fuel. So now if we go to, how do we go to the approach is that on here? No. Index approach, there it is. So I need to edit this, don't I? So our gross weight is 57.7 and we need to take away that 2.2. Is that right? Am I making this far more complicated than I need to? John says 3.1 arrival fuel, you should burn 3.1. Is that telling me what I'm going to burn? Not what I expect to be left with. 2.2, that's fine, you've corrected yourself, so you've got what I've got. So we expect to burn 2.2 tons of fuel between where we are now and when we get to Palma. So if we go to approach reference, there we go. And then this is the bit that I got a little bit confused with here, John. So I'm going to leave this here. There's about a 30-second delay on the stream. So I'm just going to leave this here for you to come back to me. We're going to burn 2.2. So my understanding is that we are going to set this gross weight to 2.2 less than what this is showing. Is that correct? And then once we've done that, it'll give us our flaps 30 speed. We're going to land flaps 30. Is that right or not? And I'm going to leave John to answer that.
Ladies and gentlemen, our cabin crew will be around shortly to commence our hot meal and snack service. Please ensure that your tray tables are in the downward position. To assist our cabin crew, please keep the aisles free of bags and any other items you may have. The food and snacks menu can be found in the back pocket of the seat in front of you. There is also a children's selection of food and healthy snacks available. Please dispose of any rubbish you may have in the bag provided at the end of the aisle. We accept payment in cash or credit and debit cards. Thank you for your support of this channel.
So John says, let's start basic first. I like that idea. So John, I am all ears. Let's learn. So John says, click flaps 30, but in the box where it says flaps and speed. So flaps 30, 133, and then in the box where it says flaps and speed. So is that there? Your gross rate will go down with fuel. We've got some relaxing music in the background as well while we do this, which is nice. So 55.5 will be your final gross weight if we're burning it correctly, and that 55.5 figure we get from the 2.2 tons that we're going to burn between when we did that calculation and what we expect to have at Palma. So now do we enter that 55.5 in the gross weight field? Is that correct? Coffee Guy says, you've been learning as much as possible on the A320 VFX Academy and watching videos on this channel. I've learned so much. Should have tried harder in school. You don't need to be clever to fly the Airbus, Coffee Guy. That's definitely true. So John says correct. So we need to enter 55.5 in the gross weight then. I'm just going to let John confirm that. So if John can just confirm that we are going to enter 55.5 in the gross weight field before I go ahead and do it, because I don't want to screw anything up. The delay on stream here really doesn't help when trying to give instructions, does it? And what John needs to do is tomorrow, when he's landed and returned from Malaga, he needs to come back and check out how the landing went. Yes, so now we can do that, and that's done. There we go. Oh, John said do not change the gross weight. Don't. Right, okay. Let me put that back. I told you this delay screws things up, didn't I? Let me put that back to 57.7. There we go. I put that back. Just ignore what I did just there. Oh, see, that gross weight changes automatically with the fuel burn. Got you. Okay. So that will decrease on its own as we continue to burn the fuel. Fine. I'm now seeing everyone type oops, oops, oops. Was it 57.6? Sorry. 57.6. There you go. Oh, John says 57.5. We'll not touch that again in future. Right, so we're now at 57.5. Final. Done. Talia, use a random number generator. Okay, so we pulled the flaps 30 VAP VREF speed. We popped it into here. We know we're going to burn 2.2 tons of fuel, more or less, between when we get there. We're not touching the gross weight. We've just undone that. I also see the VREF has dropped by a knot. So do we need to update that to 132? And just as if we watch that, it will go down, hopefully. John says now, go up to the right a little bit from that view. Not much, just a little. Hopefully you can see what it is you're looking for now. Bass Player 58, how you doing, mate? What are you seeing? You're seeing me struggle with the Boeing logic. I don't have to do any of this VAP speed calculation in an Airbus. It's all done automatically. SN1316, is anyone dare to try flaps 40 max brake landing since the release? I didn't try a landing, let alone anything else. So John says, right, okay, so the left side of the auto rate, you will see the fuel flow reset. Click down. Traffic information, thank you for the follow. So if I click down on that, we've done that. And what has that given us? Elliot, do I know why the SimSmart is stuck on retrieving airport data? Elliot, I'm afraid I do not. Try a different airport, see if you're getting it with every airport, if it's just the one. Mark Watson 147, thank you for the follow on Twitch. So John says, see, it says used. Now you can track what you are burning. I've got to be honest. Where does it say? Where does it say used? If you zoom into where you clicked, you will see used at the bottom of the dial. Yep. Done that. Charlie, it's the lower ECAS screen is normally off, comes off if an event arises. I don't want any events to arise. I'm not good enough for events. Oh, Mark, does it come on the middle panel for a brief period? How brief? Neil Brock on the ECAS. Can I do that again? Will it tell me? Oh yeah, fuel used. There you go. Got it. Right. There you go. So we've burnt 2.42. Added both up, left and right. Got you. Yeah, so there it is. Just coming up to 3, isn't it, in total? 3 tons in total? Thank God this is a long flight. That's the reason I wanted to do a long flight, to learn stuff like this. We couldn't have done it if we were just having an hour's flight time or something daft like that. And we're really grateful for John. John is Boeing's answer to HD, for those of you familiar with the channel. Turgay says, I've clicked so many random knobs and buttons and I'm still in the air. Boeing's proved to be a good proving to be a good aircraft. Yeah, it's idiot proof. I think it's weird as well seeing the thrust levers moving on their own. Pascal says, so a Boeing driver, which also does streams, flight deck to sim, does change the gross weight to the landing gross weight before selecting the landing flaps. That might have been where I got that information from, Pascal. Maybe it's a SOPs thing, I don't know. Mark says you normally aim for at least a 2-hour flight when learning a new plane so you're not in a rush. Yeah, absolutely. Now click up instead of down and it resets. Let's see. Oh right, okay, so we've just reset that. So if I now click used, will that show 0? Oh, yeah, I see. Ah, I like it, I see. So you can work out how much fuel you've burnt during the actual flight. And you can calculate if it was correct by watching the fuel used and also looking at the gross weight. Which hasn't changed, by the way, down here. Chris Hogg, no, you can't get the PMDG plane on the store. It is from the PMDG website only. Base player says the 737 was designed using slide rulers, not computers. Well, yes, I don't think the computer technology was there, was it, when this was first designed? When was the first one? 60s? Mr. Dino 2000 says, I think that showing the movement of the thrust levers is actually a good thing Boeing has for situational awareness of the crew. Gandhi, good evening. Am I enjoying the 737? I'm enjoying learning it, I'll be honest with you. And because it is such a high fidelity study level aircraft, I think it's great knowing that every action has a consequence. John says it could potentially be bugged, not sure. Fair enough, fair enough. Gareth says the 737 will be in the Microsoft store in around 2 to 3 weeks. So I honestly cannot imagine flying this on Xbox. I really can't. Tommaso, what do I think about the missing EFB? Well, we brought that up a little bit ago. But obviously it's going to come in the future. It is going to come in the future. Right, okay, so just to go back to sort my knowledge out on this for setting the flaps. So I'm going to do a flaps 30 landing. And I've now got a VAP speed of 132. I know it's not VAP. Or is it VAP? Do they still use that? VREF, whatever. Is 132. So presumably I can pop that then into here. That I'm now telling the aircraft that is what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be landing flaps 30, speed 132. When I'm landing, however, I'm going to add 5 knots to that up here on the MCP. Is that the right Boeing term? So it's going to be 137 set on here for landing, isn't it? Danny, you're experiencing that right now. Every action has a consequences. You're now flying on the APU at the moment. Oh, thank you so much for your help, John. I really do appreciate it. So I should do some sort of fuel check at Bailon, shouldn't we? So let's see, what fuel did I take? I've got overall around 1.2 tons of fuel extra on board is what I took at Bailon. We should have then 5.3 tons. Oh, that's not good. So I'm thinking that the fuel factor in SimBrief perhaps needs increasing. It still says we're going to land with fuel, so that's okay. John, there's the overhead. Let me know if you see anything amiss. Oh, shouldn't the air temperature be set to passenger cabin rather than the supply duct? Missed that whilst going through things. Look at me with the knowledge. So Mark says between the intro PDF and the 737 Ofcom you can learn the plane quite easily. I'm not sure easily is the word I would use. Sergey says that's why the passenger cabin was so silent. Yeah, they were freezing. John, you just wanted to check that the main fuel pumps were off. Yes. By main fuel pumps, did you mean the centre fuel pumps? We've not got any fuel in those, or very little. Gandhi, can I see your overhead panel? Not a euphemism. Tell you what, I could not have picked better weather for my first flight. This is live weather. It's obviously not live time, but it's live weather, and we've got gorgeous weather all the way around us today. SN 1316. It's not an EasyJet to fly. It's why EasyJet switched to Airbus. I'm not sure if that's true. Maybe it was just more cost efficient to switch to Airbus. I don't know. Perhaps it was just because it was a Airbus is European, isn't it? Oh, John, the Ryanair call them mains. Fair enough. John, are you on Discord, mate? If you are on Discord, we need you to join the server. You will be our 737 god. So guys, if you are just joining us, welcome to my inaugural flight in the 737 from PMDG. We left Doncaster Sheffield Airport about an hour and 17 minutes ago, after an hour setting up on the ground. We're on our way. Everything actually appears to be going rather smoothly. Don't think we've had any huge cock-ups. Cabin may have been a bit cold, but I think we're doing well. Thank you so much for the support you guys have shown this evening as well. I know it's late, particularly if you're here in the UK. We've got about another hour or so still to go. And it's 10 past 10 here in the UK. But that's okay. I wanted to have a nice good long flight with us today while we learn the intricacies of the 737, not rushing anything. We've still got the arrival to do. We have set up the ILS frequency, we've got the course sorted, we've worked out where our approach speed is going to be. We're going to have a look at some charts in a little bit and see what's going to be happening there. So Neil says, so is that it for the setup? What about the top of descent? Well, if I go back in the cabin, I should be able to see if I zoom out far enough. Hang on. It depends. Top of descent might not even show. We might be too far out. Oh, there it is. There you go. There is the top of descent. Which actually is in about half an hour, 50 minutes time. These times here, obviously not real time, but I'm just 12 hours out. So, yeah, 09:43 PM. John, you're in the Discord. Fantastic, mate. If you can find me, if you want to drop me a message, I'll make sure we assign you the appropriate role in there as a real life pilot. Mark says a lot of airlines also do A320 or 737s. They can get them on the second-hand market. That's why there are so many of them out there. They're the two most popular aircraft in the world, aren't they? 320, 737, direct competitors to each other. Tony says the 777 series seems easy to fly than this. Well, Tony, the 777 has the added benefit of technology. Remember, you're essentially flying a 1960s aircraft, which really didn't get updated that much. And the reason they didn't update it is because they had to. If they were to do that, then airlines would have had to retrain pilots, and that costs money. So Boeing decided, do you know what? We don't need to. We're going to leave things exactly as they are. New engines, new technology, yes, but everything we're going to try and keep as close to that initial design as possible. Captain Aaron, do I have a lot of mods in the community folder? Not really, Captain, not that much. Just obviously airports and things, but actual basic mods, no, only about 10. Neil says we need a teacher fluent in Boeing. Oh, him and HD get on like a house on fire. Gandhi says, watched one of my videos the other day and heard me talk about going to Sheffield City Airport as a kid. Am I from South Yorkshire? Yes, I am. Yeah. What gave that away? Sheffield City Airport. What a place. London City 2, as we used to call it. Without the Thames. Talia says it's almost suptime there in Toronto. You'll share the spaghetti. Barry, you've just asked a really great question, and if Jamie's still around, I hope he can answer it. What are the numbers on here? What do they mean? John, my Discord name is EasyJet Sim Pilot, so hopefully you'll be able to find us on there. Mark, it's the afternoon there in California. Yeah, it's a great time for a stream, and if you're in the USA, isn't it? I guess. I'm just sitting up a little bit. Oh, I like that view. That's nice. For landing, though, that's not a bad shout. We can obviously sit up a little bit, but is that a realistic view? Perhaps a little bit lower. Chris Hogg, good night, mate. Thanks for watching. Sergey says, and as we know from the MAX accidents, they don't announce new features implemented into the MAX, which has ended sadly. Yeah, we know what you're talking about, MCAS. And funnily enough, the MCAS system was another feature that Boeing added so they didn't have to retrain pilots, so that pilots were more... So the newer versions of the Boeing flew like the old versions because they had the bigger engines at the front, so things were different. MCAS just pitched down ever so slightly, only under certain conditions. Well, unfortunately, those conditions were met a couple of times and it didn't end well. And Stephen says, yes, Boeing would also have had to spend much more money and an increased time to market if they had to start a new design from the ground up. Right, Long 80, can you change the numbers in the sim? Which numbers? One of the lads says they're there just to remind for a call sign flight number. Is that right? Is that they don't actually have any mechanical bearing? It's literally a call sign flight number. Well, what good's that if you've got an alphanumeric call sign? All 4 numbers. Fair enough. Gandhi, you're from Hillsborough. Mate, last night must have been awful for you. By the way, I am a Sheffield Wednesday fan, so I was gutted. Didn't realise you were in Hillsborough, mate. You're literally down the road from all of us. From Jayhog, Dark Fury as well. You're not far away at all, Gandhi. And funnily enough, guess where I was on Saturday? No, Sunday. I was in Meadow Hell on Sunday. I was the guy walking around trying to keep three triplets in check. And bribing the eldest with Minecraft on my phone to play with while we got them all new shoes. God, that was an expensive trip. Oh, hey Gandhi, I will absolutely have to pay you a visit next time I'm around. You can drop me a DM on Discord. Nick says you can set the numbers to whatever you want and aid memoir. Yeah, that's fair enough. It's just like what an old-fashioned kind of notebook. Ellis YT, how am I liking the Boeing? Do you know what? I'm sat at cruising altitude. I am about 200 miles from top of descent. I feel safe. I'm happy. I don't have to do anything at the moment. I'm liking it at the moment. I'm liking this bit. The setup is a bit convoluted compared to Airbus, but we know about that. Perhaps I'll get faster the more I do it, but you know, you guys are making this inaugural trip special. Okay, the community that we've got here is what's making it really, really good. And 240 viewers at the moment as well. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out in your droves this evening. Danny, you've managed to fix it. That's great news. You did a small detour around Leon while troubleshooting, but you're now flying back on course. Excellent. Glad to hear that. Yaroslav says, hi guys, can I set up the CCA officer pack for the Airbus for this 737? Well, that is exactly what I'm using now, just on all its default settings, and it seems to be doing an okay job at the moment. What Elijah from Warrington? Yeah, that's not far either. Maybe we need a big meetup. Oh, Robert, Sheffield United did a lot better. I know. Them blades. I was going to say something else then. Again, he says pizza is a great distraction for the kids. Indeed it is, and I was starving yesterday. Not yesterday, Sunday. SN in the 60s, the captain used the numbers on the yoke to remember the cabin crew's hotel room number. I love that. Peter says, I am personally responsible for you joining VATSIM, so I can give you some professional ATC service next time we fly to Copenhagen and Denmark. Oh, Peter, let us know. Well, no, I'll ping you next time we're headed to Copenhagen and you're around. That would be fantastic. Neil, Manchester is your local airport. Trips over to the airport pub are a must, aren't they? Johnny Finn says you're also flying the 737 at the moment, and this is far more complicated than the A320. Absolutely right. Barry, you're reaching top of descent. Here goes. Good luck, Barry. I'm 160 miles behind you. Dark Fury says I can send the kids to entertainment whilst having pizza in Meadow Hall. I can't. They're 3 years old, Dark. Can you imagine? They can't even cross a road. Danny, now question. Have I already prepared the approach? Well, yes and no. I've not gone through all the charts and everything like that, but there you go. Speedline, thank you so much for the sub. Really do appreciate that. Mitchell Taylor says, wait, hang on, Boeing? EasyJet doesn't fly Boeing anymore? That is correct, Mitchell. What we're going to do is I'm going to try and get my head around Boeing a little bit, and then occasionally, I mean, Airbus is always going to be our primary, but occasionally we're going to do some retro Boeing flights. Dark Fury says we need an airport pub meet. Oh, can you imagine? Gandhi, you finally did the airport pub yesterday. Well, so throw the pics in Discord. Oh, yeah, do it, mate. Do it, absolutely. Willie Canuck. Hello. Welcome to Boeing. Here we are. Flying a pointy-nosed jet. Not a very pointy-nosed jet, obviously, but more pointed than Airbus. How you doing, Willie? Hope you're well. What's that wing flex like? I suppose it's kind of stable at the moment. SN does Southwest have most of these jets hold 700s? That's interesting. Neil says game on at top of descent, that's where it gets real. Should we I'm going to try and do my normal approach briefing as to what I do when I'm flying the Airbus and see how that's going to work out. So let's go for it, shall we? Now, one thing I can't do is control the FCU. No, not the FCU. The McAdoo. The box. Flight computer. This thing. What I can't do is type into this whilst looking at this on a tablet. Not yet, anyway. Maybe that's something to come. So what I want to try and do is work out how is my VNAV going to work for this. So let me just have a look. So I think at Pollensa, I'm just looking, where's that number one? I always miss this. There we go, 13 miles. At Pollensa, if we can be 5,000 feet at Pollensa, I will be happy. And then from there, we're going to get down to 4,500 feet at Bavum. Normally I'd be thinking flaps 1, flaps 2, etc. All of that stuff, but if I can figure early for this while I'm learning the aircraft, that is fine. Don't mind that. Willie, I'm finally flying a plane that you know more about than I do. Right, let's see. So if I now go into the legs page, how's this looking? Right, Pollensa, 5,000 feet. Bavum, 4,500 feet. Obumu, 2,500 feet. There we go, and that's our glide slope intercept. So it's all there. It's all there. So it's pretty much all hard-coded in for us as well. I'm not too sure about these speeds. At Bavum, will I really be doing 240 knots? How far away is that? It's 17, nearly 18 miles away. I kind of want to start slowing down a little bit. I mean, if I was thinking Airbus, I'd be thinking green dot speed by there, which is usually around 220-ish. Maybe a little bit slower. Is there a... I was going to say, is there a performance chart anywhere? So flaps 15's 1, 3, that's for the arrival. No, I don't want that. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm just going to have to check out the speeds as they show there. But I think I want to be getting a little bit slower than that. Jonathan, is the 5000A at Pollensa to indicate above or at? It indicates above, that's right, yeah. Gandhi, whereabouts? I mean, don't answer now if you don't want to on stream. Just drop us a message on Discord. Whereabouts is the pizza that you are serving in Meadowhall? I know there's a few places that can do it. Jonathan, touch, knock on wood, top of descent codes properly. It's not looking too bad. Do you know what? We can still use our own mental arithmetic to work out where the top of descent should be, because We just do it the old-fashioned way, the rule of three. So what are we at? We're at flight level, we're at 38 or 39,000 feet. We're at 38,000 feet. So we're at flight level 380. I want to be 5,000 feet by there, which means I need to lose 33,000 feet of altitude. So 33 multiplied by 3 is 99. Add 10 for reducing a bit of speed. So around 109 miles away, I want to start slowing down. What I am going to do then, if that is the case, I can go to the fixes page. We can just check this out. So POS, add in 109. Oh no, I don't want a radial. Go away. Oh, how do I clear that out now? There, delete that. Slash 109, because I want distance rings, not a radial. There. And okay, that top descent is a little bit after it, but that's okay. It's not a million miles away, is it? So I'd say that's good. Egg Andy, of course you can drop a name, mate. Yeah, we're not the BBC. Nick, it really is called Meadowhall, yeah. It's just a nickname because, well, do you know what? I like it. I don't dislike Meadowhall. I really don't. Except at Christmas time. Damn, you avoid that place like the plague. Yeah, Neil, the A320 crew can meet at the Manchester Airport pub. I call it Meadowhall because I always leave there skinned. Velox, thanks for showing us that. Is slash 109, isn't it? So this is a nice bit. This is just a nice little bit of a cruise section. We've been able to chat. I really should have gone and got a drink or some peanuts. I'm rather hungry. Dark Furious's Airbus 2 crew for the 737 is coming soon. I would imagine that was going to be the case, yeah. Again, the Three Joes. I've heard of it, never been there. Mitchell Taylor, top descent has been very good. Mr. V also says the same thing. Vietnam in general is very good for the high fidelity aircraft. It does exactly what you expect it to do. Just need to manage the speed. Planes, Trains, Elliot. The newest SimSmart version is version 1.17, I think. If you go to the website, it'll tell you. Lucky Man, no in-flight meal service. No, the cabin crew's gone to bed. It's late over here. Great to have Twitch viewers on board with us as well this evening. Thank you so much for being here. Peter James, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Plane Trades Elliot, you should be able to update it. When you run it, it updates. Now, I think if you run the wrong file, though, it will not update. So, I think what you have to do is run it from the start menu. If you run it from the start menu, you should be able to find it then. Oh, Tinder X is here. That'll be the cabin crew. Nick, has the Fly Live Studio stopped working? That's annoying. Egg Andy, sourdough pizzas, a few local beers and plenty of cocktails and wine to choose from. Top visit during the kids' holidays because the kids eat free. Do they? Ah, you know how many kids I've got, right? Willie, thank you so much for your £5 super chat. It says it's worth a £5 to see me join the dark side for a stream. Yeah. Here we are. Who would have thought it? Thank you very much, Willie. Do appreciate that, and your continued support, of course, over the months. I can almost say years, can't I? In September, it'll be 2 years since the channel's been around. SN, the favourite thing about the 737 over the Airbus has been able to set local QNH before switching out of standard. Mantoga, is First Officer George still there? Somewhere, I hope. Barry says the fuel calculation is spot on. Excellent. Peter James says, how am I finding the 737? So far, so good. And no bugs. Touch wood. No bugs. But then I wouldn't really expect any. iNot Panda, what sim is this? It's Microsoft Flight Simulator. Ryan Rock says, does your yoke leg when you move it around in the cockpit? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Ryan. Gandhi, wow. Gandhi, thank you so much for your generous £10 super chat, mate. Saying, just a big thanks for bringing some fun and new content to the channel. Excited to learn along with me. Gandhi, thank you so much for that. And yeah, really, really is appreciated. And I'm going to have to let you know next time I'm in Meadow Hell. Willie says, think you've been a mod for at least a year. Beyond that, no idea. COVID buddies. That's it. We were all here during the COVID lockdowns. Chilling in one says, great aircraft this. Suits you as good as the A320, Gav. Great stream. Well, we haven't landed yet. So I've got a question. How on earth do I get the weather at my destination? I mean, top of descent is coming up. I should normally turn the airports off just for a minute. So top of descent is what, about 80, 90 miles away? We've done our little brief. I need some way of getting tell you what you can't do. Yeah, I need some way of getting the meta. Tell you what I can't do. I can't type in Leopard runway 24 left as my arrival. I can only type in Leopard. So we'll type that in, and I'm just going to put a 10-mile radius ring around that. Not 10 miles, sorry, 30 miles. 30 miles, then I know I need to be about 10,000 feet at that point. Oh, don't want a radial, hang on. There we go. I can get rid of that other fix now. That top of descent looks close enough to me. Let me clear... Oh, it's not clear, it's delete, isn't it? There we are. So, Diffuse says Google it. Barry says you can request the winds. SN says web browser. Vomit. So Marcelo says, don't think it works yet. They said there's a restriction on the internet connections from the simulator. Is there? How's Fly by Wire do it then? Mark says you need to get it into the scratch pad from the legs page, then paste it into there and it works. Get what? Hey Gandhi, you've dropped the pics from yesterday in the Discord VIP Lounge. Excellent, I'll look forward to that. Willie, don't mess up my type rating. HD will be watching. He's been very quiet tonight. I don't think he's around, to be fair. He might have an early flight in the morning. Who knows? So Simon says click the route page and click request. Request? Am I being thick? Oh, that's a flight plan request, but you need to have got the Simbury flight plan in there. HD, good evening. Come on now, how long have you been there? How long have you been there? What were your words yesterday? And I quote, "You'd pay to watch me try and fly this aircraft." Flying it, yes. Landing it, no. Right, SN1316, thank you for that. We've got, oh, look at those winds. Variable at 2 knots, cav okay. Could I have had better weather? I just wanted the QNH, actually. So what's that, 1023? Thank you. Do we need to put any of that information into the approach page? Don't think we do we? Oh, Mark, so we can click runway 24 left on the legs page. So, what? There. Oh, I see. So it uses that format. Romeo Whiskey 24, that got you. Thank you. HD says he's been there 30 seconds, been having dinner around at the neighbours, so I haven't had a chance to join him with the fun. Honestly, don't know squat about this aircraft, so can't help. Well, join the club. We did have a very nice Ryanair pilot on a little while ago who shared some knowledge. Not sure that's enough to get me on the ground safely, though. Right, so as we get to our top of descent, we're going to initiate that. We are going to come down, and we're going to set 5,000 feet at Pollença. So we're going to go all the way down 5,000 feet. Obviously, if I was on VATSIM or anything like that, you'd be going down not all the way to that low. We'd have a step climb down. HD, you are up early for tomorrow morning. Oh dear. Well, you'll catch up with that on Friday. Friday, that means you've got a busy week. That is good to hear, my friend. We're all happy that you're back in the air again more often than on the ground. Though we do miss you terribly. Gandhi says there's a page to enter the QNH and wins. Where would that be? Is that in the descent page? Which would make sense. Doesn't look like anywhere to enter that. Forecast, transition level. Descent winds request. That's, I don't think works just yet, does it? That only works if you've downloaded your SimBrief flight plan and got it saved and set up in the simulator. Forecast uplink ready. Really? Oh, right, okay, so ISA, deviation, and QNH. Right, well, the QNH, what was the QNH? Was 1023, wasn't it? To pop that in, are we typing in slash 1023? And execute. Good night, HD. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you've had a nice meal. You can come back and laugh at me on the catch-up. Hey, we're still here. We're still having fun. That's one ugly cockpit. But can you imagine when this was state of the art? So we've got a message saying forecast uplink ready. Don't know what that means. Descent, we're uplink load. What happens if I press that? Nothing, because I've not got the SimBrief thing popped in there. Never mind. Never mind. Data config link invalid. Yeah, it would be, because I've not got the SimBrief flight planning. Doctor says the ISA is 5. How is that right? Is that the temperature in Palma right now? 5 degrees. That seems very, very cold. Alfred says, sticks to Airbus, Gav, it's years beyond Boeing. Well, that's true. The Boeing is a 60s plane, the Airbus is a 90s plane. Top of descent is getting closer. The fun bit's about to begin, guys. I know it's late, but here we go. SN 1316, sorry, you can enter the descent winds from the operational flight plan manually. Yes, of course. Yeah. So it would be in the descent 350. It's 022 at 56. We'll add in a couple more, so at flight level 200 we can add in 027 at 31. And flight level 100 is 033. Oops. Reset the MCP altitude. Why? We're at the top of descent. Ah, we're close to the top of descent. Ah! Right, 033 at 011. There we go. Execute. Right, we're going down. 5,000 feet. God, it takes forever to wind this down. Is this why I need to do it 5 miles out? Because it takes that long. Right. And down we go. 5,000 feet. Checked. So we've now got the retarded thrust, LNAV and VNAV path. This is it, guys. We're on our way down. I know it's late. It's been a long stream. We've been streaming nearly 3 hours. This is our longest stream for absolutely ages. But hopefully it'll be worth it. What's the local transition altitude? 6,000 feet. Right, let's set local QNH then. So that is going to be 1023. Oh, we need to set the minimums as well. It's going to be Cat 1. Now, I believe this is also a category D aircraft, so it's going to be 250. There we go, minimums are set. So that's interesting. Marco Bretto says Alt intervention will remove the restrictions, where I thought we'd learnt earlier that the level change removes the restrictions. That's the level change is your Airbus equivalent of open climb and open descent, is it not? Rustum, yeah, category D for that. I'm sure I read that in PMDG's own documentation earlier on today. I'm almost certain that is what I read. Which surprised me because I thought it would obviously be a Cat C, but. FSX flights, how many flight hours do I have in my profile for flights in 23? I have absolutely no idea. Mr. V says you don't need to use the alt intervention, just set the altitude you want. You don't need to press it. That's weird. Simon says level change just climbs or descends at the airspeed selected. Fair enough. So that is my open climb, open descent. But in the Airbus, that obviously bypasses any constraints or anything like that. I find it weird having 5,000 feet at the top here, but I'm descending instead of at the bottom there. I need to make a note of what my approach speed is going to be. Can we remember? Right, so it is going to be 135. Because we have to set that manually in a little bit. Leonard, do I keep my heading in sync? I should, but coming from Airbus, I just forget. Basically. Why should I need to do that? Come on, Boeing, up your game. Belvix, am I excited about the Phoenix? You bet. I know how to fly that aircraft. Marcello, use the 3 numbers on the yoke. That is a great idea. We've found a practical use for it. Rather than the cabin crew's hotel room number. 135. Oh god, using a pen is much easier. Ah! Oh, come on. Kyle Mans on Twitch says, you thought I would have been on the Berlin event? God no. What? Was everyone flying the PMDG? Right. So set local QNH. We're going to go auto brake level 2. Now, check out the two descent points. There's the first one. And after we get to the second one, we're going to start to reduce our speed to about 220 knots and set flat 1. That's the first one. Let's have a look. Alright, there's decel. There's the first one. There's the second one. There you go. So decel, I'm guessing that's where we're going to start reducing to about 250 knots. FSX flights, the A320 is absolutely more simple. Dog Fury, thank you. Yes, it also tells you flaps and approach speed just there. Oh, you Boeing guys. So glad you're here. I know this is your preferred aircraft, isn't it? Dark. All these months, though, you've been flying Airbus with us. Not much to see out the window, is there? Ship. PMDG have done a fantastic job, you know, of sorting this out. Kyle Mansell's egg on Twitch. How does it fly compared to the Airbus? Well, on autopilot it flies pretty much the same, but hand flying, that is a whole different ball game. No longer can I point and shoot. Seatbelt signs on. Did we ever turn those off? Actually, no, we didn't. Probably for the best. I can't fly the aircraft. It would be wrong to tell the passengers, yeah, you can unbuckle. We're going to be on the ground very soon. We're on our way down. 17,000 feet. Come on. Let's see if we can do this last little bit. I've had a great evening tonight with you guys. Thank you so much for your company. And your help. And getting me flying this incredible add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator. From PMDG. Captain Aaron, anyone know how to let the 737 start up automatically? There probably is a state setting in the flight computer. Oh, excuse me. Yawning away. Tom, hi mate, says, hi, how is the FPS with the 737? Tom, it is amazing. It actually is amazing. It's far more FPS friendly than the fly-by-wire. They've optimized the hell out of it. It's fantastic. Barry says, you need to see more videos on how to fly it from someone that actually knows how to fly it. No offence. Hey mate, none taken. You absolutely messed up the approach and landing. Oh, I hope I don't do the same now you said that. Res Rules, you've just landed in this for the first time at Alicante. To say it's Twitch is an understatement. Good luck. Thank you. Right, there's our two decel points. Marcelo, have I tuned the ILS? Yeah, we did that quite a while ago, actually. So, fingers crossed, that will sort itself out in a little bit. Eagle, the aircraft manually sets the top of descent as long as you've got everything programmed in correctly, which I think we managed to have. Turgay, yeah, the ILS does need to be tuned in manually, so we've got that in now. 1093. You know what? I am going to double check that. 1093. Yeah, we're looking for India Papa Alpha Lima to be identified. Aye, pal. Our Green 93, is it worth the price? Oh, absolutely. When you consider, I'm literally scratching the surface of this aircraft tonight. I mean, there's failures and all sorts of things built into it. I've got those turned off, by the way. Ricky, you did your first flight in this tonight? You loved it, probably got your brain working, and you still have a lot to learn, but it's the most fun you've had in the simulator for a while. Yeah. I can understand that. I really have to think about this, though. I really do have to think. Hopefully the Phoenix will be a little bit more second nature. Marcello, that's one thing that messed you up yesterday. You had the ILS and course on the FMC. You thought it worked like the Airbus. Yeah. In fact, where do you enter the course on the FMC? I can't recall doing that. Oh, yes I have. It's there. Whew. I was worried then. MBS Gaming is a little bit more work this bird than the Airbus. Quite right too. Right, 10,000 feet. Let's get some lights out, shall we? Hello, Palma. The airport is over here somewhere. Right, we need to start reducing speed, I think. So, I'm going to tell it now to start reducing speed 220. So if we go to that, and we're going to set flaps 1. Once we get there. Although actually, can we set flaps 1 yet? I don't think we can, looking at the information on here. Right, we need to continue our descent now, and we're going to do this in level change mode, I think. Let's keep going down. We're not going to get down in time, are we? Let's use some speed brakes. I'm going to wind that speed up, otherwise we're not going to get down. In level change mode, I am effecting the descent using speed. And this has us on our actual approach, doesn't it? But we have not got yet the ILS identified. So at 250 knots we can get flaps 1 out, I think. Oh no, 250 knots is our limit, so we can't, not yet. And our platform altitude is going to be 2,500 feet. Let's go ahead and set that. I don't want to level off. Keep going, 2,500 feet. Right, we're now below the glide slope. Perfect. So, I'm going to set VS. Oh, come back. We're below the glide slope. We'll continue descending at about 1,000 feet per minute. Let's start winding that speed back then. And arm the approach. Start setting some flaps to add some drag. .180 knots. Airport's in sight, can't quite see the runway just yet. So let's just reduce the vertical speed, otherwise we're not going to slow down. We've got 15 miles to run. Radio altimeter is alive. So let's set more flaps. So we're now at flaps 5, 180 knots. And remember, our final speed is going to be 130 plus 5, so 135. Gorgeous views of Palma, of course. Look at the dirt. Look at the dirt on those flaps. They're amazing. Glide slope is alive. The Apple Pilot, so, is the Airbus more enjoyable to fly or this? It depends what you want, I guess. If you want to work hard, for me personally, then I find this harder to fly, just because I'm unfamiliar with it. Right, there we go. Glide slopes is captured. So now we should be able to set the missed approach altitude, which is 3,000 feet. And that's set. Let's start to reduce speed now. 160 knots. Set flaps 15. We've just busted a bit of a speed there, have we not? What is that noise? Unless it was the fact that the landing gear wasn't down.
1,000.
So we're a little bit fast at the moment. Hopefully we can bleed off that airspeed before we get there. Now let's set flaps 30. Right, we're now configured for landing. All we have to do is land. Tell you what, this is not flying on rails, by the way. This is wavering around. Winds were light and variable. I'm not confident yet enough to disengage the autopilot. We'll do that pretty soon.
$500.
500 feet. Okay, should we go for it? Autopilot disengaged. I have control. Oh god, it's not fly-by-wire.
Approaching minimums.
Approaching the ground. You have to put in so many inputs. You can't just point and shoot. We may have a long landing, as long as we don't end up in the med.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
And we're down. Reversers are out. What a great noise. $80 knots. Reversers off. Disengage the auto brake. Can use our toe brake and take the rapid exit taxiway.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived at our destination. The crew will now commence preparing the aircraft for boarding. Can passengers please remain in your seats with your seatbelts fastened until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign. You may now turn on your phones and electronic devices. Thank you for choosing to fly with us today, and please consider becoming a channel member to receive extra benefits on your future flights with us. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Guys, we made it! We're in Palma! Oh, breathe a huge sigh of relief. The only thing that can go wrong now is to crash the desktop. Let's... right, we need to clean up our aircraft. Let's see. We want to start the APU. Do we have to like press and hold that? Something like that. There we go. So we've started the APU. We need the probe heat to be set to auto. I can't even see what I'm doing here. Probe heat. There we are. The APU generator needs to be turned on. Do we have to wait until we've actually got power from the APU, or can we do that already? And do you know what? I think after that we'll just turn off some of the lights and we shall just taxi to the gate and relax. Oh, well, that was fun, wasn't it? Did you enjoy that, guys? Welcome to Mallorca in the PMG. Hang on, that is a... I've added a bit too much thrust there, so I'm getting a takeoff config warning. Don't worry about that. We're here. And all things considered, I don't think that went too badly. Do you know what? I think I'm also parking in an EasyJet spot. Oh, guys, thank you so much. It's late. It's 10 past 11, so I can't stick around much longer. But thank you so much for all of your company this evening, all of your help this evening as we attempted to navigate the 737 and bring her down nicely in Palma. I think we kind of got away with that, didn't we? Touchdown didn't look to be too bad. if you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like on the way out. Would really, really appreciate that. Thank you for your support this evening. Means a great deal. It's a great community, great friends, and well, you guys are the reason that I'm here at the end of the day. So thank you so much. Parking brake on. Is that APU up and running? Yes, it is. So if I now pop that on, I can hopefully cut this and I'm not going to lose power to the aircraft and scare all the passengers. Done. Yeah. Done. I'm sure there's more to clean up config wise, but I'm going to leave that for another day. Right. Oh, a bit sideways. There we go, and I love this airport scenery as well. From I think it's just Sim. This Palm scenery. It's fantastic. So thank you so much for your company this evening. Honestly, I've had a great time flying this aircraft with you tonight. Very nervous at the start because I haven't actually got a clue what we were doing, but we've managed to make it in our little pointy Boeing aircraft. More 737 flights, I'm sure, on the channel will follow. Looking forward to doing them though in the orange livery. Thank you so much, guys. It's been great. I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Sorry to rush straight off, but it is getting rather late, and I believe First Officer George now needs a walk. Thanks very much, everyone, and to those of you who have donated and contributed to the stream during the flight tonight, thank you very much for your contributions and support, and of course to the EasyJets Invalid channel members, as always, for your continued support as well. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, everyone, and I look forward to chatting with you on the Discord. Good night.